One area I'd like to bring up is three behaviors that leaders could bring in to the workplace when they're trying to get the best for and from their tribe. And it's not overly complicated, but it does take a really good high level of EQ, or you just got to work on it. These three things that I would say would be one, leading with authenticity and knowing how to, you don't, as leaders, we're not expected to have all the answers. We're just expected to show up and to try and get the best for people, to try and get the best version of our people. We've got to try and do the best version of us. And that also means that we can say, hey, I remember when my kids were really little, and there were days I was coming in to present to a team, and I was just shattered. And rather than coming in and trying to be the person I could normally be at the meetings, I remember on one Tuesday morning just saying to my team, going, guys, I've got all our stats here. I know what I want to bring to you across to you guys. I've had about 2 hours sleep. If I start rambling on or if I get it wrong, could someone please put up their hand and say, Evan, can we wind it back a bit? Showing that part of being vulnerable, having that empathy. And it's also then understanding when you're being vulnerable, how much do you share? And so you don't want to overshare and things, nor do you need to. But it's letting people know that I'm not standing up trying to be this stoic individual who can battle through anything, because I don't expect my team to either. The other one I always harp on about is active listening. And the true art of active listening is listening with the intent to understand. So when connecting with team members and listening to what it is, when you're going through, whether it's the performance, whether up to a date, what they're struggling with, it's listening not only with the intent to understand, but listening where you can almost repeat back to them going, what I've taken away from our conversation today is, because it does one of two things. It either allows them to correct me on it and we can get it really clear, or B, they just go, that's exactly it. And they know that they've been listened to, and being heard is so incredibly powerful. Again, you don't have to have all the answers, but just being heard is huge. The last one I'd say is, as a leader, know when to ask for help. Know when to lean into your peers, or certainly, ideally, there's a more senior leader who you can lean into. And if not, that you're able to just put your hand up and say, I haven't got it today, or I don't know what to do, or I'm having an issue with a team member. I'm not really sure what to do in this situation. But again, I guess it all comes into the same thing of, you don't need to be perfect. You don't have to try and be that person that you're not. So ask for help, because we also want our team members to do the very same. If they see us being prepared to do it, they're going to be prepared to do it. And this is part of where, in my experience, when people put their hands up, it reduces the chances of issues happening down along the track. It's when people don't put their hand up, it's when issues can happen. And then it's only when we're at this stage of the process that we find out, had we gone back here, we actually could have resolved it. So yeah, those would be my three guys.
I was thinking about this in the construction sector. We generally start with a pre-start meeting each morning, and so everyone knows what's happening for the day, like if there's heavy equipment coming in, or if there's a pour on, or any hazards that might have to be identified. And I bring that across when teaching and training within other sectors, that when people have, even remotely, so working remote, working from home via Teams, that even like a 15-minute sanctuary meeting, we called them in one place where I was working, that was just a catch up where the whole team could jump in and just even see the face of someone else that they worked with. It was a 15-minute meeting, but it made people feel connected within the team, even though they might never meet in person. So I think that's a really valuable pre-start meeting for each day. And I found that with working in and training and teaching within mental health and disability and community services, that getting together and even having that pre-start before people are going out into home visits, which is also classified as remote and isolated work, having having a chat in the office first, so everyone knows, okay, well, they might be going out even to a remote area. I live in an area where there are a lot of dirt roads and people still having to go out there and provide care. Yeah, so I think that pre-start meeting is a really effective way that 15 minutes can make a big difference.
Yeah, I agree, Maureen. It's social connection is so powerful. It's not even just powerful; it's a necessity. All of us, and I think COVID was a huge one for that, where people not being able to assimilate and get together in the workplace was such a major factor for the mental health crisis that came about afterwards. And I think the idea of getting people just, what did you call it? A pre-start?
Oh, pre-start meeting, and we're another place where I was working. We actually just meeting in the morning where we had 15 minutes, and it was optional. You didn't actually have to attend, but optional check-ins like that are important. And what you were saying earlier, Evan, around the active listening, I really loved listening to you there, because it's really hearing what the other person, and around that intention. And sometimes I find that people will just dip their toe in the water. They might just disclose a little bit about how they're going.
Yeah.
And then if the manager or the supervisor is actually willing to listen and has that time and space in their own role where they can do that, then the person may feel safe to open up. And this is one of the things around stigma, that we have to smash stigma in the workplace. And as you were saying, Evan, like leading by example, bringing your authentic self, saying for managers and supervisors to feel that they can say that they're not right at their full potential today, and this is why. And to have conversations around how people are going in the workplace, and so that we can start to reduce and smash that stigma, because we know that help seeking behaviours are largely limited by self-stigma. And self-stigma is that mental health literacy, I think, is really important. And that can be talked about in team meetings and in performance appraisal, like one-on-ones with people. That probably doesn't sound right in performance appraisals, but yeah, like when people actually have an opportunity to meet with a manager, that can be a safe space is starting to be created, where conversations can be held and people can feel able to disclose if they're not okay.